Well, thank you for listening. I grew up hearing a lot of complaints about churches asking for money. And sometimes it was in the context of the Greek Orthodox Church. Sometimes it was just churches in general. And I get it. It's easy to feel like I come to church for community and then I encounter a shakedown. And those early comments that I heard growing up, they had a big imprint on me. So fast forward a few decades, suddenly I'm going to church, I'm in the pews, and I remember seeing Rocky give a talk on stewardship, and I thought, oh, that's a tough thing to do, I'm glad that's not me. Then a few more years went by, and I saw Mike Restagno get up and wear a ketchup suit to talk about stewardship. And I thought, I'm really glad that's not me. and here I am. And I actually wish I had a ketchup suit. It would be a little more comfy than this one. Now, even though I'm here to discuss stewardship, I haven't forgotten those early experiences of hearing complaints about the church asking for money. And I don't want to be the guy who perpetuates that sensation. I instead want to propose a different way of thinking about stewardship altogether. I'm going to use some business language, and that's not to imply that the church is a business or that we should operate like a business. I don't think we should. But I do think we need an expanded vocabulary for how we talk about this tricky thing called stewardship. And I think it ties in nicely to the point that we were making last Saturday about assumption being a story of innovation and how we've innovated and innovated and innovated some more. And by all means, we should innovate in the way that we think about stewardship. We are part of a community. We are part of an institution. We're not shareholders, as in a business, because shareholders are passive. When you buy a share of Amazon stock or you hold a 401k with those shares, you sit back on the couch and you wait for Amazon to do something impressive and for the shares to go up. And if that happens, it's not really anything to celebrate because it all kind of just happened in the background. It's all very passive. That doesn't describe us at all, right? We have Father Andrew, Father Jacob, and of course they're in leadership roles. But when people convert and join our community, they talk about the community as a whole. They're talking about how welcoming all of us were. Our hospitality, our generosity, the fact that we as a community are ministry focused. So what that means is that we are all in it together. We're all in it together. And that means we're like co-workers. We all have a stake in what it means to be Assumption. Now, we play different roles based on where we are in life, but no role is more important than the other. We're in it together. And I thought that's something that the Metropolitan said so beautifully last Sunday. We're also not employees of some giant institution that wants us to just punch in and punch out, to mechanically come here. And if that's what we were and that's how we acted, we'd never have accomplished everything that we've accomplished together over these years. We're more like co-workers in a startup. Suppose we were coming together to start a lemonade stand. At least when I went in school, they always talked about lemonade stands in textbooks. We would ask questions like, who are we trying to serve with our lemonade stand? What will make our lemonade better? Why should someone come and enjoy our lemonade instead of the Gatorade down the street? And as we developed this vision about our little lemonade stand, hopefully we would get excited about it, and we'd want to do more and more to turn it into a reality. We've been having those conversations here. We've been discussing what is our vision. Is there more to do? And after all, we've built this beautiful church. We've built this wonderful community center. Perhaps it's time to coast. And I've asked many of you that question. And the answer I keep getting is no. It's not time to coast. There's more for us to do. We're not done. The best is yet to come. Those are the messages that keep coming back. So like what? What does that mean? Our vision is multifaceted, and that it's because our community is multifaceted. We all have different stories, different backgrounds. We got here in different ways. We have different goals, different relationships with the church, different needs. For one, and very basically, we have a lot of youth. We see that. We had 2 churchings today. We have a growing senior citizen base, and then we have a lot of middle-aged families. And every single group is important to us. So our vision, one thing we're talking about is having 3 priests. And why? To minister more, to do more wonderful things, to welcome more people into the community, to serve them in ways that meet each person where they are in life. Second, we are in the early innings of how we engage with our community outside these walls. We've already boldly broken out of the mold. We support Project Mexico. We've got Mom's Pantry, the Eris Foundation, many more things. We even, and this one just blows me away, we're even involved in college and young adult programs at ASU. But the needs are much, much bigger. So our vision is to be this shining light on a hill to our community. I want to wear an Assumption shirt to Costco. And I want someone to come up to me and say, "You're that church that's feeding homeless people across town." Or, "My kid at ASU forged their faith through the programs that you guys funded." How cool would that be? It's not about recognition. As much as I want someone to come up to me and say that at Costco, it's not about recognition. It's about taking the love of Christ that we experience here and showering it into our broader community. But yes, we do need Assumption shirts that we can wear to Costco. We will work on that. Finally, the Metropolitan told us that we have this plot of land over there and that we need to make it more than a plot of land. And I think many of you have heard these murmurs, these whispers, that we have this vision to construct a senior citizen center. That's a big goal that we have. There's a lot to hash out to take that vision from idea to reality. That's all the more reason to get started. And I don't think the Metropolitan was kidding when he told us to get going. I was actually scared in between last Saturday night and Sunday morning if he'd come up to me on Sunday morning and say, "Where's the plan? You had 12 hours. What'd you do?" These are a lot of goals, but we need diverse goals to meet the needs of a diverse community. Now, not every goal is going to resonate with every person, the same way that not every meal we eat at home is going to be our favorite meal. But what we're trying to do is execute a plan that considers everyone, young and old, cradle Orthodox to recent convert, parishioner here versus person way, way, way out there. So we're co-workers. We are writing what it means to be Orthodox Christians. We're writing the story of the lemonade stand of Assumption Greek Orthodox Church. But it's actually not a lemonade stand. And I'm sure some of you were waiting for me to say just kidding, because lemonade stand's kind of basic. It's actually a love story, as Father Jacob has taught us in so many sermons. And the love story can be really broad or really narrow. It's whatever we make of it. So let me talk for a moment about what I mean there and how we use stewardship. We look at the commitments that come in, and then we decide whether to put our foot on the gas or on the brakes. It's kind of a mechanical process, gas or brakes. And, if we can begin allocating dollars to a new building for an elder care center based on the commitments that come in, we will. And that's how we get the ball rolling. Or if we can start setting aside dollars for a third priest, we will. And that's how we kickstart the recruitment process. Stewardship tells us to move forward or to stay cautiously back, and we know that the best love stories are those that are always moving forward. So I know I'm speaking for a long time. I'm actually also trying to give Father Jacob the title of not being the longest speaker, because that's important. I can now be that guy. But let me close with a few more points. 2 ideas to consider as we all begin thinking about our stewardship for 2025. First, ignore what you've done before. It's so easy to take last year's number and just mechanically roll it forward. That doesn't capture inflation, but it's also just arbitrary. If someone's situation has taken a hard turn, maybe the number should be lower. If you came up with your number years and years and years ago and today you feel more fervor, more energy, or you have more capability, maybe it should be higher. And that's just what each of us has to go and figure out. Second, fight with everything you've got to build and explore this love story with Christ. Come to church as often as you can, and I'm saying that to everyone who's here, of course. Come to church as often as you can. Check out the Bible studies. They are at record numbers. Schedule an appointment with Father Andrew or Father Jacob. Maybe it's, hey, I would just like to talk to you about the church. Maybe you've had many appointments and it's just time for the next appointment. Join Philoptochos. Invite your friends. We need your stewardship, but we need you even more. If your tithe is 10% or 0.01%, you're invited. Everyone's invited. We are happy that every single person is here, and that's really the work that we're trying to do. So I'm going to close with a quick story, and I think I said I'm going to close 2 minutes ago, but I'm really going to close. Vanessa and I were in Milan this time 1 year ago, literally 366 days ago. She broke her ankle, and she needed to have rushed surgery in Milan. So we got to use Google Translate a lot. We typed in things like, is that pill going to create a really bad allergic reaction, ? And then Google Translate told us how to ask that in Italian. So we stayed in Milan for 10 extra days while Vanessa recovered from the surgery. The day of her surgery, she handed me her wedding rings and asked me to take them back to the hotel for safekeeping. I put the rings in my jeans pocket and I hopped into the metro to go back to the hotel. Now, since this was supposed to be a 5-day trip and it turned into a 15-day trip, I had to wash clothes in the sink of the hotel. You know where this is going. So that night, I washed a few pair of jeans, and I heard this clicking noise, and I realized what had been in my pocket, an engagement ring and a wedding ring. Today, if you will find an engagement ring on Vanessa's finger, but you will not find a wedding ring. However, there is a wedding ring somewhere in the sewers of Milan. This raised many interesting questions, and I know, even though I've been talking for a little while, you're wondering where I take this story. I'm going to take it in a serious direction. I bought those rings almost 20 years ago. The person I bought them for is my best friend today. The love that I have for my wife and the respect that I have for her have deepened and matured so much in these 20 years. Parts of the journey have been hard, but even in those parts, we've grown closer. So here I am. I need to go ring shopping. What does the ring represent, and how is it a reflection of our relationship today and not the one 20 years ago? It's a powerful question. So maybe stewardship is kind of similar. Maybe we're all going ring shopping as we rethink our pledge toward this amazing love story that we've constructed here, and we've nurtured here, and we've built here. But, as with any true love story, it's actually not about the ring. It's about the relationship, the service to each other, and so whatever happens on stewardship will happen. That's between each individual person and Christ, but we are doing amazing, amazing, amazing things here. We have built this community that is second to none, and that's how I ended my little talk last Saturday. It's how I want to end this, in the form of an enormous thank you that we're here together and we're able to experience Christ's love, Christ's mercy, that we have two wonderful priests who just tirelessly give their time and their energy and their prayers for us. Yes. Because we could not think of any better place to be than here. And so this is my last comment of just saying thank you for the opportunity to be here together. It means everything. Thank you.